Hello, Matthew and Christine. My name is Pat Stino, and I'm one of the construction managers here at Anthem for Epic Homes. Today is July 1st, Wednesday, and we're here today. We're going to do a pre-drywall video walkthrough. Due to the nature of our environment, we have moved to doing virtual pre-drywall walkthroughs. So we're going to go through things today. We're going to look at the exterior of your home, the interior. We're going to go through all electrical locations, low volt wiring, options. We'll look at everything. If you have any questions, and I'll state this again, just contact Kyle and he'll relay things to me, and we'll just keep on moving. But where we are currently in your house is we have this week we have garnered all of our rough inspections from the city of Broomfield. We do have some third-party inspections coming up in the next few days, and then we're moving to installation the first part of next week. So with this holiday weekend, I thought I'd take advantage of it and shoot you this video so that you can review it over the weekend, come out and walk your house. Please do. Take a look at things and then get with Kyle if you have any questions or concerns. But I'll be moving the installation next week and drywall by the end of next week. And then we're on the move. So with that said, I have this little checklist that we're going to be looking at things today, Matthew and Christine, and those are the grading and drainage around your house. Right now we just got a bunch of dirt and trash. We're at the gutter and downspout locations, the window grids on your elevation of your home, the electrical locations everywhere inside and out, the low voltage and security pre-wiring that we're doing, plumbing areas, mechanical areas. We're beyond any change order time, so we won't have to discuss any change orders, and then the projected schedule. And I'll be this video, by the way, will be uploaded on YouTube, and you'll be able to see this as we go through things. I'll check these off at the end. Something I like to start out with is showing you a copy of your plot plan. And this is a copy of your plot plan, and what this shows is the outline or the foundation of your house, all of the concrete. It gives us dimensions, 15.5 feet, 75 feet deep. It also gives us elevations. Right in the center is a little key. It tells me that this is your address, 3389. This means top of foundation in real time or in real elevation. Top of foundation is 5410.9. We have a walkout top of foundation elevation and a finished floor. So what this means here is that when you're sitting in your kitchen area or in your great room, you will be sitting at 5,412.1 feet above sea level. We're building you a 50-foot wide product, model 2361. We're at Anthem, and this is a full walkout basement. So there is a key down at the bottom right which will tell you what some of the symbols mean, but all the little X's are elevations, and those are 97.6 feet, 97.6, 97.4. Those are vertical elevations. We do have dimensions. For example, here at the rear, this is 35.2 feet from the rear property line to the foundation corner. And we have directional arrows, tells us how we need to grade the lot once we get everything completed, and also the percentage of grade or the slope. There'll be a 10% slope in your backyard to the back property line, 10% on the side. In the front, we've got the concrete driveway here. Tells us that there's a 6.1 slope on the drive, and then it flattens out up at the top to a 3.6. So there's all kinds of information here. This little stop sign symbol that you see here in the two-car garage at number 3, that means that there's 3 steps going up to your house. And we'll pan around, look here. The stairs are not in yet, but that will be 3 steps going into the house. So that little stop sign symbol on the plot plan represents the number of steps, whether it's up or down. For example, off your back deck down to grade, there's 17 steps down that back stairs to the backyard. So this is a copy of your plot plan, and you really should have this. If Kyle hasn't given you a copy, just ask him for one and he'll send it to you. But it's very helpful to plan landscaping and to work with your landscape contractor on. So this will be a handy thing to have. And this is a binding legal document that I have to live and die by. So all things will be as this states, and then we'll get a certification of that at the end of construction. So this is a copy of your plot plan. So as we're gonna first walk around the outside of your house and look at things, talk about grading, drainage, the elevation, and then your electrical items are on the outside. You have added a few options to the exterior and we'll be pointing those out. We'll walk around the complete exterior and then we'll move into the garages, then into the house, and then into the basement. And then we'll do a wrap up outside again. So if you follow me, you have selected the 2361 plan as I mentioned, and this is a Colorado rustic elevation. As we look back, Colorado rustic has a couple different types of hardboard siding. It has the horizontal 8-inch lap, plus it has what we call shingle side above the garage. That is a metal roof above the garage and a decorative and supportive wood beam below. That will all paint. You can see wires hanging out of the soffits above the front porch, above the single stall garage, and then out in front as we move around. And those are where you have selected for us to install the 3-inch LED lights. That's why those wires are hanging there. I still have a couple of corbels to put on the front there as well. All the soffits are still open because all of our inspectors, whether it be city or third-party inspectors, have to see up in there, make sure that all of our wiring is correct and accurate, make sure that all of our connections, all metal plating and hardware is in place correctly. So those soffits are still open. But over the course of the next couple weeks, those will close up as we begin the exterior masonry. On the exterior, we've got coach lights on both sides of the 2-stall garage, coach lights on both sides of the single-stall garage. LED lights, we've got 2 above the front porch, 1 centered on the garage per your main plan. There's 1 under the curtain soffit, and then in the front, the street side of the single-stall garage, there's another 2 that are centered over the windows in that garage, and you'll see those wires hanging out as well. Also, as we're walking, you'll see that anything is still green board, still our green sheathing, that will be covered with masonry. So everything that's still green will be masonry. There's an exception to that, and that's on the outdoor room on the main level. There's a little bit of siding that we still need to install out there and around the door, and that'll go on same time as the soffits. So as you move around, this would be the northeast side of the house. You may have wondered what this orange pipe is sticking out of the ground. This is the sewer cleanout. The reason we had to put this sewer cleanout in is there's an additional bend in the sewer main that we had to put in, so we have to put in additional cleanout. When we move to fine grading, or really right before masonry, the excavators are going to open this up and that'll straighten back up. We'll get that vertical. Then after at landscape, this cuts down flush with the landscaping, so this pipe is not going to be sticking out of the ground. But what that is a sewer main clean out. That's what this pipe is here, and that'll be cut off down at grade. On this side we got the front hose bin. You can see a white pipe sticking out of the wall. That is the sump pump ejection pipe or discharge pipe. That'll be cut off shorter, it'll go down. As you see other houses finish, yours will look very similar, but it's a sump pump discharge. This copper pipe, this is the sprinkler line for the irrigation system. And there'll be a vacuum breaker, shut-off valves outside with the sprinkler valves in the ground. And the valve boxes that we set are large enough where they will accommodate backyard landscaping as well. A number of valves for the backyard landscaping. We've got the white pipes are water heater vents, intake and exhaust on the water heater. This is a condensator line for the air conditioning unit. This is where the AC unit will sit. This is where the power service outlet here for any service on the air conditioning, and then power for, we'll be setting the disconnect here, the shut off for the air conditioning unit. That's what this wire is. As we move down, at the basement window, fan ventilation, the exterior or interior fan hoods. This here is the hot water intake and exhaust, pardon me, and the heating are the larger pipes up there next to the condensers. Move around to the back side. In a walkout lot, we put 2 sump pumps, 2 sump pits in, one high on grade and one low on grade. So this is the second sump discharge, and we'll look at both sump pits when we get into the basement a little bit later. As we come around, no other options or activities going on here. This is the stairs going up to the outdoor room, but in the patio below. We're going to move around onto the patio here. As you can see on the wall here, we've got stone coming in. I do have some siding around the doors, but we have coach light and a waterproof outlet next to the patio door. We do have an electrical option, and that's a waterproof. It's switched inside. There's a waterproof outlet underneath the deck. That's what this is here, your optional waterproof outlet high, and that's on the switch on the inside. Come around, this is your main disconnect panel where the electric meter sits. You've got an interior load center. So the breakers, there's main shutoff in here, plus what we call the heavies. The heavy breakers are in here, maybe for your AC unit, you know, some heavy duty breakers. But all of the main GFI breakers and everything is in the interior load center, which we'll look at. This is your low volt termination point. All of your low volt wiring from in the house comes out here. Not all of the low volt, pardon me. Your main connects, for example, for telephone and internet, that comes out here. This is the underground from the rear pedestals, which Comcast or Xfinity, whoever your provider is, will be setting a box here, and that's how they'll make their terminations. So as we move up this side, we got the rear hose bib here. Gas meter toward the front of the two-stall garage. And kind of above the gas meter in the soffit is the holiday circuit that you've requested. And then it's on a switch from the inside as well, and I'll show you that as we get inside. That's your holiday lighting. I missed telling you something on the exterior here. On your elevation, the Colorado Rustic, all of the window grids are a T grid, or a one vertical, one horizontal. So that is what is in all of your front windows. One V, one H, one vertical and one horizontal grid. That's the Colorado Rustic pattern. There are different elevations which have different grid patterns. Downspout locations over the front porch. This comes over to the garage. Downspout is at this corner of the garage. The other side, front roof comes over, goes around the corner. The downspout is outside the garage. So you got no downspouts in this main entryway. In the rear, if you look, you'll see them coming down. We've got the rough gutters on. The final gutters will happen after masonry. So as we move into the two-stall garage, we've got electrical service outlets around the garage, one on each wall, one here. There are two here because you've opted for and requested a dedicated outlet, and that's this one right here. And then we've got service outlet on this side. Up on the ceiling, we've got one outlet for the garage door opener. There are two lights. Low volt box, that's the low volt wiring going down to for the garage door sensors when you have a garage door installed, or when we install your garage door. There, you'll see an electrical box up in the ceiling of the two-stall garage, that square box, and that is a junction box for all of the coach lights that are outside. Just in case something would ever happen, we like to install that junction box just so that we can isolate things and figure out what the problem might be, or you may be able to. Panning around on this side of the garage, you'll see this funny looking piece of metal sticking out of the concrete. This is called a UFER, or really the correct terminology would be a CCE, a concrete encased CEC, concrete encased electrode, CEE. Let me get my abbreviation correct. This piece of rebar goes all the way down through the foundation, through the footing, and touches the earth below the foundation footing. This is our second means of ground for your electric service, and that's what that is. So this is a concrete encased electrode, a means of ground. The second means of ground that we use is we bond water to your water pipe. So you've got two means of grounding in your house from the electrical side. We'll look at that bond wire when we get to the basement. So that takes care of the two-car garage. The only option in here, the switches are next to the door, and that would be one for the light in the garage, and the other for the three-way for the coach lights. The outside coach lights outside the garage switch both from this entrance and from the main entrance. Move over to the single-stall garage. We have no electrical options in here, but we have standard features that I'll point out here. We got, again, electrical outlets on every wall. and a light garage door opener power and garage door low volt going down to the sensor locations. This outlet on the back wall of the single stall garage, that will be used for your irrigation clock or your landscape or sprinkler clock. They like to use this because it's close to the valve box. So that'll be occupied by your sprinkler clock. And that's it for the outside of the two garages. And now we're going to move inside. Well, we'll look at your front porch first. Down your front porch, you come up. We do have a service door going into the single stall garage. The light switch for the inside is inside that door. We've got recessed cans, 3 recessed cans in the ceiling of the porch. Waterproof outlet. And doorbell location. Standard location for our doorbell. And here we are at the front entry. Come into the front entry. Okay, so here I am right inside of your front entry at your front door. And you'll see next to your front door there are 4 switches here. And what they're for is the outside switch. That's the 3-way for your coach lights at the garage. And as I mentioned, it's on a 3-way switch over at the owner's entry. So you can turn them on or off either location. We've got your outside soffit LED lights. And we have the outside cans at the front porch, so your front porch lights. And then we have the interior recessed cans in the foyer entryway. You're gonna hear me talk about travelers. I call these traveling lights. So I'm gonna turn lights on ahead of myself to travel, and then there's a switch at the other end always to turn off lights behind yourself, and another switch to turn on lights ahead of yourself as you travel. So at the front entries, 4 switches again to recap. We've got 3-way on the coach lights. We've got your exterior LEDs. We've got the outside front porch recessed cans, and then the traveler's lights in the entry. And since we're at the study area, we'll come in. We've got double doors to the study. On the left-hand side are 2 switches. One is for a ceiling fan pre-wire, a ceiling light pre-wire, and the other is for a half-hot outlet across the room. So we have, in every room, and I'll be pointing these out to you, we have what's called a half-hot, or half of that outlet is switched, and half of the outlet is always hot, always live. So we've got outlets around the room. The ceiling light pre-wire also will be on a dimmer switch. From a low volt standpoint, in the study, we've got a CP location here in the study low, according to your mini. And I'm sure you have a copy of this mini as well, which tells you where things are that you've requested and what those abbreviations mean that I'll be mentioning. So your CP here is just phone data and cable, TV, satellite, everything is in that CP location in the study. Service outlets around the room, all walls have service outlets. And we'll move down the hall to the master suite B. So as I mentioned, we've got traveler lights on ahead of me in the foyer. I'm going to turn those off behind myself. Again, traveling lights to move down the hallway. As we get to the master bedroom B, a switch to turn off behind yourself, door swings in, a switch to turn on the, ceiling fan pre-wire. We've got 1 switch for ceiling fan pre-wire and 1 switch for half hot across the room. That's the switched outlet here. No other additional outlets in the room. Standard outlets everywhere. The blue box up in the coffer is the smoke detector. We're required to have the smoke detector at the highest point in the room. That's why it's up in that coffer. That's a code requirement. We've got walk-in closet with a switch on the inside, recessed can. Here we have the secondary bath. 2 switches as you walk in. Door swings in. Switch to turn the lights on above the lav and above the shower, and a switch for the fan. And we set all of our shower heads at about 84 inches, which is a little bit extra tall, but we'd rather have it a little tall than too short. We also accommodate for it 84 with the poured shower pans. So if it didn't have a short poured shower pan, it could be a little shorter, but we'd rather have that shower head up where it can accommodate just about everyone. This is wires sticking out of the walls. I'll explain what those are as we go. This is the light for above the vanity. And we don't put a box on those. We like to set our mirrors, and then we may need to adjust that a little bit with the light fixture. That's why we just have what we call a whip sticking out of the wall. So as we leave the master bedroom B, we'll move into, turn lights on ahead of ourselves again on the traveling side, and we're gonna walk into the laundry. And inside the laundry there are two switches, one for the overhead lights and one for the fan. We got washer left, dryer right, power for the washer, water, 220 power for a dryer. We've got laundry sink location, outlets above countertop. Again, two switches, one to turn off lights behind yourself as you enter into the master closet. You've also requested an optional outlet behind the door in the laundry room, and that's what this box here is, your optional outlet in the laundry room. So as we move into master closet, as you walk in, there's a light on ahead of yourself. This is the three-way to turn on behind. With our service outlets in the room, service outlet in the room, and we also have added 4 recessed cans in the ceiling. Turn off behind yourself. As you come into the master bathroom, we've got the master stool room to the left. 2 switches in there, one for the light and one for the fan. Now here we are in the master shower, master bathroom area. We've got 2 labs. His and her lab. This is the light above the vanity, power outlet next to the vanity. 3 switches here I'll talk about in just a moment. Second lab sits here. You've also opted for the tower linen cabinet, which goes in this corner. Got sink, power outlet next to the sink, light above the vanity. We've got freestanding tub, and then we have the walk-in shower. Valve body for the walk-in shower is here on the column. Diverter, shower head again at 84. Got the seat. We've got recessed cans, 1 in the shower and 2 above the freestanding tub.
Rain head.
Rain head. Thank you. You've opted for a rain head in the ceiling. So at the switches from the master bedroom to the master bathroom, as we come in, we've got three switches here, and we've got recessed cans in the center of the room. We've got recessed cans over the tub and lights over the vanities. As we exit the master bathroom into the master entry area, as I'm coming, there's a switch from the grand room into the master suite, and that's to turn the lights off behind yourself as you come into the suite, turn on lights ahead of yourself, turn them off here again, turn this traveler on ahead of yourself. Right to my left, there's a linen closet, and then we enter the master bedroom area. So in the master suite, you have requested 2 switched outlets on the bed wall, 1 on each side, and those are the 2 switched outlets, and they are on a single switch at the entry. We also have ceiling fan pre-wire in the center. And turn off lights behind yourself as you're coming in. From a low volt standpoint in the master suite, we've got a CP location down low here, center of wall. Service outlets around the room. As you looked at the ceiling fan pre-wire, you could tell there's a coffered ceiling in the master bedroom. Again, up high is the smoke detector. So as we exit the master suite, you can turn, again, traveling lights or hallway cans on ahead of yourself. I'm going to stand over here by the stairwell. And right across from the stairwell is coat closet. This is where the coat closet is located. And then the grand room. We kind of separate the grand room from the kitchen, but there are switches along the grand room wall. Three-way switch to turn off the lights behind yourself, the traveling lights. And we've got a three-way switch for the dining pendant fixture here. You can also operate that dining pendant from this side here. We've got two stacked switches here by the kitchen, and I'll come back to those in a moment. But you can turn your dining fixture on from here, down or off, and from the kitchen area as well. The other switch bank we have here, the three ways, we've got switch for recessed cans. We've got a switch for the mini cans on either side of the fireplace. We have a switch for ceiling fan pre-wire. So as we move around the room, the additional electric we've added are these 4 cans in this area. We've got a ceiling fan pre-wire, the 2 4-inch minis on either side of the fireplace. Also an outlet above the fireplace at 75 inches. So the options in the grand room. The right niche, looking at the fireplace, the right side, this wire sticking out of this side, that's the on-off switch for the fireplace. So that's the fireplace power. Down low, low volt-wise, on the right-hand side, we've got SW, and that's a subwoofer pre-wire location per your request. Also, we have speakers in this area. 3 along the fireplace wall. 2 D1s behind, 1 in the rear. 1 in the rear, breaking up the grand room from the dining area. Also above the fireplace, we've got a conduit from the CP above the fireplace, down low, because on that side of the fireplace we've got a CP and a TP. CP is the phone data cable, and the TP is the theater port. So we've got a conduit going to this location per your request. From a security standpoint, we've got a glass break, and that is this little blue box above the patio door. And that's in the event that this glass would get broken or someone would try to break in, that would pick up that glass break. That's from a security standpoint. So here we are at the kitchen area. As I mentioned, we've got the dining pendant. And according to your electrical drawing, you show that dining pendant centered on the foyer hallway and centered on the island. So that's exactly where we have placed that dining fixture. So on this wall over here next to the refrigerator, we've got 2 stacked switches. One is for the kitchen recessed cans, and the other is for the dining light 3-way, so you can turn it on and off over on the grand room side or at the kitchen side. The other double switch bank here is, one is for the pendant lights over the island, and the other is for the under cabinet lights. And I'll show you those whips as we walk around the kitchen. But here we are at the refrigerator area. We've got refrigerator, cabinet, and countertop located next to the refrigerator. So on the kitchen wall here, we'll just continue on the kitchen, then I'll move to the owner's entry. We've got the double oven cabinet. We've got all horizontal outlets placed, all outlets placed horizontally at 38.5 inches above the floor. The white wires sticking out of the wall are the under cabinet lights. For example, here's a whip for an under cabinet light. We've got range location with both 220. You've got a dual fuel range, so I've got dual source of power, 110 and 220. 3/4 gas line for the range. This is the power for the vent hood. Another under cabinet light here. 2 under cab lights, 1 on either side of the range. From the low volt, we've got a T1 pre-wire here, and a T1 abbreviation stands for phone and data. You got phone and data. We also have a refrigerator down low. That's with this power here down low in this location. You got an under cabinet refrigerator. And this box is just a junction box that we needed to tie wires together. We've got 2 switches here, and one of them is 3-way for the under cab lights. And so this double switch located here, it's a 3-way. One of them is a 3-way switch for the under cabinet lights. You can turn them on and off from here or over next to the kitchen entrance. And the other is for the recessed cans, 3-way switch. Double sliding doors or multi-slide door opening at the center. On this side of the doors, we got 3 switches. One is for the exterior recessed cans. One is for the ceiling fan pre-wire out on the patio. And the other is for a waterproof outlet you requested in the ceiling. And that is located here. So we've got 4 recessed cans, ceiling fan pre-wire, waterproof switched outlet. This is the gas barbecue location coming through the stone column. And waterproof service outlet on this side. So the 3 switches next to on the right side of the patio door or the outdoor room are all for exterior. We've got waterproof outlet, recessed cans, and ceiling fan. So this is the kitchen island. And we've got service outlets around the island. I'm gonna stand at the kitchen sink. These cabinets center right here, so we've got the kitchen sink right here. We've got work lights centered above, and you requested 2 pendant lights, and these are the 2 pendants here. And what we do is we take the countertop length divided by 3, and that's how we center those pendant lights. We bring them in a little bit from the edge, so if no one will hit their head, depending on how low you hang them, we bring them in a little bit from the edge of the countertop. The countertop does overhang a little bit, that's all for the better. So we've got power around the island. We've got kitchen sink. Disposal underneath the kitchen sink inside the cabinet will be the switch for the disposal. And we've got dishwasher. The owner's entry, you've requested I have an NSO to remove, I know we had it framed, but it's been removed. The closet area in the owner's entry has been removed, and the pantry is here off to the side. So in the owner's entry, as I had mentioned earlier, inside the garage, there's one switch to turn the lights on in the garage. You come in from the owner's entry, we've got a low volt security pad pre-wire. We have got the holiday circuit. This is the outlet that is in the eave outside the garage. So here's the switch separate for that holiday circuit, holiday switch outside. So and then we have 3-way to turn the lights on, traveling lights on ahead of yourself. As we move into the kitchen area, 2 switches. One to turn on lights, off lights behind yourself. One is to turn on recessed cans traveling ahead of yourself. In the pantry, there's a switch inside and a light above. You've also requested an outlet in the pantry at 40 inches, and that's right here. Also, we have framed this barn door pre-frame. So we'll be wrapping this opening with drywall. It appears that you're going to be adding this barn door after you move in, but all the backing is in. So this will be wrapped with drywall and ready for your barn door. Also, I forgot to mention, over in the master bedroom to the master bathroom entrance, we did pre-frame for a barn door in that location as well. And that is over here, which will show you. That's this backing above the doorway here. So that barn door pre-frame is in. In the owner's entry, the low volt that I mentioned, there's a keypad pre-wire and security keypad pre-wire. I'm looking to see if you have a WAP anywhere, a wireless access point, but I don't see one on the map. So, no. So that takes care of the main level. We're gonna move down the basement stairs. And you have requested, as we move down the stairs, there'll be a couple of switches at the head, which I'll point out to you. But you've requested stair lights. So at the head of the stairs, we've got the arc niche there. We've got a recessed can at the stairwell centered. Got two switches. One is for the recessed can, the other is for the step lights as you come down. Step light package, stair light package consists of 4. So we got one mid span of the stair run, one at this landing, one at the second landing, and then one mid stair run going down. Got a little open rail at the bottom of the stairs here. 2 switches at the bottom. One to turn off the lights behind yourself in the ceiling, and the other to turn off the step lights. Around the corner, switch bank of 4 switches, and those are to turn on lights ahead of yourself. So there are recessed cans. Got 4 switches here, and we've got recessed cans. North, south, east, and west. So we split up the room, and we'll look at that great room ceiling. As long as we're here, we'll look at it. From an electrical standpoint, these are all standard recessed cans. You haven't requested any additional or any optional. Well, we split them in 2. We kind of split the rooms almost. We've got 4 recessed cans here on one switch, 4 recessed cans over here on another switch. Low volt standpoint, you have 2 speaker pre-wires here in the ceiling. We also have a glass break by the patio door, which we'll see when we come back. 2 speakers. We also have a subwoofer location. On the great wall, we've got 2 speakers roughed in above center, and all of your CP and data. We've got TP, CP, speakers above, 3 speakers above. So all data, power next to for all components. Service outlets around both areas of the great room, of the rec room. Plenty of service outlets. Moving over to the wet bar area. As you enter the wet bar, there are 2 switches here. One is for the recessed cans, and the other is for the 2 pendants. Again, we take the countertop length, and we divide by 3, and we center those 2 pendants. We hold those in a little bit, like right over the wall. This has a 12-inch overhang to make sure that people aren't going to hit their heads on those lights. I'm standing at the wet bar sink. We have power above the countertop, power at the end wall above countertop, and then behind, you have requested us to put in power and water for a full-size refrigerator. So that's all taken care of. Service outlets in the back, above countertop height. And here we are in this small receiving area. We've got a half-switched outlet from over on the wall as well. 4 recessed cans in this area. 2 switches at the exit. One is for the exterior light on the wall, and the other is for the switched outlet that we looked at just a little bit earlier underneath that deck. Light, waterproof outlet switched in the ceiling. Okay, as we let's move into the sleeping area of the basement quarters. We've got lights, we can turn off lights behind ourselves, 2 locations, turn on lights ahead of ourselves as we're moving in here. We're gonna go into this back bedroom because we're in the hallway. We've got linen closet here. We'll switch to turn lights off behind yourself as you enter the bedroom, 2 switches. One is for 2 ceiling light pre-wires that you've requested, and the other is for the half-switched outlet across the room. Service outlets around the room. So excuse me, I misspoke. In this room, you've requested 4 recessed cans. Well, due to plumbing and mechanical restrictions, and this happens very frequently, I cannot put in recessed cans, but what you see here are surface boxes, and what we'll be installing are 6-inch LED lights. So they're a surface mount LED lights. You'll have 4 LEDs, 6-inch LEDs, and they give every bit as light, if not a little bit more, and a very nice appearance. You'll have 4 LED lights in this bedroom. Here's our closet with bypass doors. I'm going to have a little access area here. This is a main sewer clean out, main sewer stack, but there'll be a very almost invisible little access door here that if you would never ever need to access that clean out for service, going out to that green pipe I mentioned out in the ground, that's where that goes to, and then to the main out at the street. But there'll be a little access panel on here. Rod and shelves in the closet. Again, as we're walking down the hallway, turn the lights on ahead of ourselves. We come into the bathroom, the joint bathroom. Got 2 switches as we come in. 1 switch as we come in this door, and that's for the light over the vanity. And then 2 switches in the tub shower room. Got a switch for the fan and a switch for another LED light over the tub shower combination. Moving into bedroom number 4, you've requested 4 recessed cans, which we have installed 4 recessed cans in this room, plus a half-switched outlet across the room. Now, as you're aware, in walkout basements, we are required to put in a second sump pit, and that's where this is. The ejection pipe goes out. We also build and finish a bench in here. We moved the closet door over a little bit, centered that door. Things worked out just fine. Service outlets around the room. You've requested low volt pre-wire in both bedrooms, and I missed the other bedroom, but we have a CP location here on the bathroom wall. And as we leave here, before we go to the unfinished areas, I'll show you the CP pre-wire in bedroom 5. And that's located right here for your request. Now we'll move around to the mechanical room. Again, turn lights on ahead of ourselves as we're traveling. We can turn them off behind ourselves as we're going. Got a door going into the mechanical room. Inside is the light switch in this service area. This is the main furnace location. This board is mounted here for, looks like tankless water heater. This will all be explained to you in greater detail at the new homeowner orientation, how everything works. Also, before you move in, we do a complete duct cleaning and furnace cleaning, so that'll all be done before you move in as well. Here's your indoor service center, indoor load center, 2 panels, main shutoff, spares and furnace, and then this will be loaded with all of your 110 circuits in the house. This is the termination point for all your low volt I-wired, so everything in the house, security, and everything comes to this location. As we move into this unfinished area, the light switch on, you've requested some additional keyless fixtures in here. So we have a total, that light switch will turn on 1, 2, 3 different lights in this, 4 different lights in this area. So we have additional keyless fixtures. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. Now this area, this is the main water service coming in from the street, and I had mentioned to you out in the garage that we have a second means of bonding your electrical service. This is our second means. This is called the cold water bond, where we bond to the underground copper piping, and this bonds goes over to the electric panel. This is the main water shutoff service. Our main shutoff is down at the bottom. We've got our pressure regulating valve. We can isolate that. This is a booster pump. Up on this hill, we've got several lots, I think there's about 20, that require this booster pump. There's not enough water pressure from the city to provide the adequate water pressure. So we put a booster pump in, and this is very quiet, and it will boost the water pressure to what we need for these houses and what you will need. So you'll have no problem with water pressure with the booster pump. Lots of valves here, and that's to isolate the booster pump if it ever needs to be serviced. You'll see this tube here, this copper tube. This is a hammer arrestor because this is the sprinkler line going out to the irrigation system, and sometimes air gets in that line, and this will help prevent any hammering or knocking in the pipes. And that's what causes that hammer, is air in the lines. This corner here, this is our upper sump location, and power for the sump. We will be installing a sump pump, and this is our ejection tube here out to that front corner. This pipe is a vapor pipe. As you may or may not be aware, inside of every basement, we put an interior perimeter drain system. And those are graded to slope to the sump pits, and that's to pick up any underground percolating water or any surface water that may get down that deep as a safeguard. All of this is also tied to the city's storm water system. So that whole drain system flows to the city storm, and the sump pits and pumps are a secondary or a backup system. You may or may not ever hear those go on or off because they're seldom used. But it is a backup security system in case there would be excessive amounts of water, but that collects in that drain and goes to both sump pit locations. This vapor pipe is a pipe that we attach to the top of that underground drain system. And what that does is just gravity feeds out into the atmosphere. If anything comes up through the ground from a moisture or vapor standpoint, that just goes right up this pipe. This goes all the way through the roof. I failed to mention or point out to you that in the laundry room upstairs there's an attic access. Inside the attic access there's a power outlet, a service outlet, and a pull chain switch. If you would ever want to mechanically ventilate underneath your slab for whatever purposes, peace of mind, comfort, whatever you choose, this pipe goes all the way up through the roof, and that power outlet serves as a power source for any fan or anything you would like to mount in your attic. This is one of the main drops, service drops, sewer drops. There's a clean out located here as well. So this is a main sewer drop going to the main service. I believe you requested, I have an additional power source here. And that is by your request. You requested an additional 110 outlet in this location. So that wraps it up for the unfinished areas and the mechanical room. Turn off light behind yourself. Mechanical room. And then back out in the rec room. So we're going to wrap here, and then we're going to step back outside and wrap things up. So we'll pause here. We'll pick up those couple items that I missed. Number one, you'll see this steel conduit. That comes from the mechanical room, and it goes all the way up into the attic. And this is a photovoltaic conduit, and that's in the event that you would ever choose to install solar on your roof. There is a raceway or a conduit for a solar contractor to get his wiring up to the conductors that go to the panels on the roof. So this is the photovoltaic from the mechanical room. You'll see the termination down there, a pipe hanging out of the ceiling. This goes up into the attic. We're going to move around to the laundry room again. I'm going to show you the attic access, which I failed to mention. We have the attic access as you enter the laundry room. Up inside there is the pull chain light and the service outlet. Also, you can see coming up through the laundry room, there is another conduit from low volt going up, and that's up in that area also. For any other needs that you may need to pull wire or anything from the basement up into the attic. So we've got two means of conduit going into the attic, service outlet out there, up there, and a pull chain light. So to recap the items that we've talked about today, Matthew and Christine, are your grading and drainage, and that is better explained or best explained from the plot plan. Gutters and downspouts, elevation and window grids, the electrical locations, the low volt and security pre-wire locations. Talked about plumbing, the mechanical system, no change orders. So I'm going to check these as we go, and this. If you need a copy of this, Kyle can provide that for you as well. But I'll be signing off on this, and you'll see this uploaded on the video. The last thing that we've got on here is projected schedule. And here we are at July 1st. And from this point, As you're probably aware, we have had to take special care with the COVID-19 issues that we're all experiencing and encountering. And we've got to space our contractors independently, a little bit different practice than we're used to. So it's taking a little bit longer to move through stages. Also, the third party and municipality inspections require solidarity so that they're alone as well. So it takes multiple trips for inspections, one inspector at a time, not multiple inspectors. But we're still moving along at a pretty good pace. I anticipate starting the exterior masonry work in the next few weeks, and then grading right after that. Generally speaking, we're at about 100 days from this point in construction to completing the home. And what that would mean that it's the 1st of July. We're talking July, August, September. This is trending toward an early October home. Now, it may come in earlier than that, but Kyle will be in touch with you. As I stock drywall in about a week, then things start to move a little more quickly. But again, each contractor is spaced in the house solely, whether it's the cabinet person or the tile person or the hardwood person or the interior trimmer. They're in there alone, and we need to respect that. So bear with us as we continue to move through this. But we're moving at the pace that we are best capable of and giving you the best possible home that we can. So at this time, I would just like to say goodbye. Matthew and Christine, come out this holiday weekend, take a look at your home. I'll be insulating next week and moving the drywall. But if you have any questions or concerns, please get them to Kyle so that myself and members of my team can address them next week, and we'll just keep on moving. Thank you very much, and it was nice seeing you.